Ask her. Yes. Oh, what's the matter? What's wrong?
So it touched the back of my head.
Tonight, Most Haunted answer a call from the family that live in fear.
Tonight. Oh my God!
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted.
Imagine your house, a family home like any other, but then add 3 decades of disturbing phenomena, with several spine-chilling poltergeist encounters thrown in for good measure. That fate has struck one particular abode in Devon, but can we help to end the reign of terror that exists at Lower Southwood Cottage? Lying on the eastern outskirts of Exeter, Lower Southwood consists of 2 cottages that both belong to the same family. Parts of this modern-day home still date back to its original construction in the early 17th century. The land was predominantly owned by the St Hills until 1812, when the Porter family took charge. And apart from hosting the RAF during World War II, Lower Southwood has acted in line with normal family life. So what was the catalyst that sparked its sudden influx of spiritual activity? And light anomalies and temperature changes aside, why is this cottage dominated by varied and often violent tales of poltergeist behaviour?
I would say that this is probably one of the most credible places that Most Haunted have been to. These people have no axe to grind. They do not sell haunted weekends. They're not open to the public. There's no reason for them to get Most Haunted here, apart from the fact that they're interested in the ghosts that they've got and they want to find out more about them. To me, it's incredible. It's mainly poltergeist activity here in the place.
The most frightening for me was the third of the third of the third, when I got up in the middle of the night and found a whole room completely trashed, furniture upended, a table turned on its sides, knives stuck in a knife block, which is quite worrying for me because I have small children. And for the whole evening, things were really quite scary and frightening.
Throughout the whole building, poltergeist activity is prevalent. Here in the sitting room of cottage number 1, the owners say that a mischievous spirit likes to turn this coffee table upside down and move other objects around the room. But this isn't the only spirit that allegedly inhabits this particular part of the house. Here in the main bedroom, the current owners and previous tenants have reported seeing the ghost of an old lady who likes to poke her head around the doors. Also, dark figures have been seen floating across the floor.
Probably the most amazing case is that they used to keep one of the cats in a cage. And one day they came downstairs and found the cat out of the cage and the dog in the cage with the door of the cage closed and a chair up against it. Now, 1 or 2 of these things you can explain as yeah, mistake, someone's playing pranks, but these have been going on for the best part of 30 to 35 years. It's driving the family mad and they want to know what's going on.
All over Cottage 2, heavy footsteps are often heard and strange mutterings echo throughout every room. The ghost of a little girl has been seen many times and is often blamed for the plethora of toys that go missing. As well as this phenomena, the ghost of a man wearing an RAF uniform has also been seen.
I definitely believe that this place is definitely haunted. There's no underlying, oh, it might not be, it might be. I've seen things, I've heard things. This place is definitely 100% haunted.
A poltergeist is said to have made its home here in the kitchen, where it likes to take knives out of the drawer and stick them in the top of the breadboard. People also feel that they're being watched in here, and they generally just don't like the feeling in this particular room. So what has a hold over these cottages? So much so that the owners felt compelled to call in the Most Haunted crew. We have 24 hours to find out.
So, having answered this family's call, how can the Most Haunted team assist those that live here? And as parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe and I were keen to discuss, how do they cope when faced with so much upheaval?
Kieran, this is really exciting because, of course, this family called us in to investigate their property. How they're managing to live here with what they're reporting as paranormal activity, I don't know, I don't understand.
It's very, very strange. And also speaking to the family, even though they have called in the Most Haunted crew to investigate, they seem quite comfortable with a lot of the phenomena. You know, they're reporting what they call poltergeist activity and some of the childhood experiences that the mother has had. They're reporting it in such a way that they do feel very comfortable about it. So I'm not overly concerned about the family coping with the activity, but I'm interested to see what we come up with later on.
And what sort of things that you've been hearing from the family are interesting you the most?
The main thing is what they refer to as poltergeist activity, and I think they misunderstand the term. Essentially what they're talking about are asports and apports. That's objects that go missing and then inexplicably return. Now, with a lot of these particular cases, when things go missing, you can just put it down to memory. Just you forget where you put it initially. But with a lot of their objects, they appear to show or reappear a couple of weeks later in a completely different area of the house. Now, the interesting thing about this is it's not focused around one particular member of the family. It appears to be happening to the grandmother, also the mother, and also now the children to some extent. And because of this generational difference, I think parapsychologists would logically argue it's not so much a PK energy, but maybe more of a spirit energy that we're looking at.
So will we be privy to the things that these two adjoining cottages regularly report to go bump in the night? And with regular medium David Wells also eager to answer our questions, Lower Southwood seemed the perfect place to welcome our new spiritualist medium, Gordon Smith, into our investigative team. And surely the phenomena witnessed here ensured that a baptism of fire awaited our new recruit. So would our wind of change also sweep out the troubled times said to exist at Lower Southwood Cottage?
It's a very interesting place, this event. The moment you come into this room, you can actually feel, I would say, what I would call some kind of disturbance, where there's been actual physical things moved around. I don't know that there's anything associated just with this room or the house. I would imagine things have happened a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't feel a person sort of trapped in this room or held to this one room, but I certainly get a really vibrant energy in here.
And it's causing the furniture to move around?
I felt not only furniture moving, I hear noises like there's some kind of almost real poltergeist noises, the noises that people would associate with poltergeist.
So the family that live here, they're not imagining the things that are going on?
No, I wouldn't say so.
And it's definitely spiritual activity, it's not them causing it?
I think that there's a variation. I do feel a spirit presence coming and going. There's moments where I feel his presence very, very strong. I feel as though it's the father or the woman who owns the house or who's associated with the house, and I feel his presence really strong here. I also get the sense that he's died here, not in this room, but here.
Okay.
He's died in this house.
And do you feel he is solely responsible for this furniture moving throughout the whole house? No.
No, I don't think that that's all spiritual activity. I think he has tried to attract people, but I do feel as though there's something among the people themselves that is actually furthering this or causing it. And it's almost like if they've seen something move, then they first of all look at it as something supernatural, which it is, but in their minds it's being heightened. And there's also a connection to one of the women in the house that I feel strongly misses him, and there's a pull on him.
Oh, I see.
And there's a lot of stuff coming from her, I would say, as well.
Okay.
And it's her need, and she's quiet, and it's in her quietness she's almost demanding his presence.
Are solitude and heartbreak the real reasons that a poltergeist strikes within this building? And in addition to identifying a protagonist, how can Gordon and David help a family to cope with their continual nightmare? Another night of hauntings and hysterics await us at Lower Southwood Cottage. This may outwardly appear to be everyone's ideal country cottage, but Lower Southwood's 2 adjoining homes aren't all what they seem. However, we still can't be sure what connection a poltergeist holds to the homes where it regularly tips tables and plays havoc with electrical appliances. Our new spiritualist medium Gordon Smith has though sensed a link, one that strongly ties a male soul to a grieving lady. But would his sensory perceptions increase as we continue to explore this home?
I mean, again, this still feels like this activity to me. Lots of real, almost earthbound activity, where there has been physical things happening around here. There's also been something happening with electrical things.
Right.
A computer's switched on, or
That's right.
something like that has happened, because I can feel all of this
That has happened.
angst. I just feel it as angst, but I know that there's just, I can work off of that, is what I'm getting.
What, the spirit person is working with the
And he
electricity?
can work, it's almost like I've got to say the grandfather, because he obviously is connected with the children, and that's how he's making me feel more like the grandfather. Even though I've got to say his daughter, she wears his ring, or she does there's something connecting the two of them together, that she keeps of his. There's something there. And there's also, one of his last memories was of being honoured as a military man, as an older man. And he's here, he's really happy to be here, because it's like he's trying to sort out a lot of this stuff. And I do believe that it's like he died in, I don't know if he died in the toilet. But there's something like that.
He died in the bathroom.
Well, that's what it felt like. I was going to the toilet and then I died. But that's the power of the man. At one minute he's in my head, and then the next minute he's gone.
This part of Lower Southwood has been occupied by Barbie Thomas for nearly 30 years, and until 2000 it was also home to her husband Mike. But despite his unfortunate passing, it does appear that his spirit and soul remain in the house that they loved and shared.
Right, this feels like his room. This feels like where he should be. I feel comfortable in here. All right. And I'm sure he's made himself known in here. His presence has been felt. I do feel as though he's come up, sat in the bed, or it's almost like the woman has actually felt his presence close to her, because I can almost feel that I want to go and sit here and just sit beside her.
And she knows it's him.
Absolutely. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People sensing and feeling the spirit world around them. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's only if there's other stuff there that's not coming out. And I do believe that there's other emotional stuff that's not been allowed out. And I think it's something to do with the nature of the way the man passed. That there's still a lot of grieving that was not done. And as long as she feels his presence close, then she doesn't need to grieve.
I see.
So that's stopping that natural process.
Are you happy to talk to her about this?
Absolutely, yeah. I have no problem with that at all.
So Gordon and Mike's widow Barbie did spend time alone in private to discuss thoughts, feelings, and to enjoy a communication that her daughter Penny was later able to discuss with us.
Penny, how do you feel that reading went with Gordon and your mum?
It's fantastic.
Yeah?
Absolutely brilliant.
What was good for your mum to hear, do you think?
It kind of really confirmed a lot of things that she felt and thought anyway about my father being sort of in and around with her and being here, and when she goes away on holidays that he's with her as well.
And did Gordon get
He did,
right?
he absolutely confirmed that he's constant with my mum, because they've got this bond together.
That's great.
Which is really comforting for her.
Okay, and do you think this now is going to help with the atmosphere in the house?
Oh, absolutely. I think it separates what's spirit contact from the other stuff that's been going on, the sort of poltergeist stuff, and knowing and being able to identify, like your father being able to give me clear information on his life, the things, his job, and all the things. I was asking him for evidence. Okay, if you're here, you tell me things that I can't know. And that's what
he knew, definitely. He knew my father's name and the profession that he was in as well.
Oh, so that's fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I've seen you and your mum with big smiles on your faces wandering around. So it's going to make a real big difference to the house and the atmosphere now.
Yes, I think so, definitely.
Great.
Has this family finally found an answer to some of the many questions that puzzle their daily home life? Although determining how many souls exist here may be a different matter. So we asked our other medium to take in the weirdly wonderful atmosphere of Lower Southwood's 2 buildings, and David Wells begins just where Gordon had, in cottage number 2's dining room.
This room doesn't feel extra specially active. All I can say is that since I've come into the building, I have been aware of one energy around me, and it seems to be, if I had to say, it's male, because it's not very well defined. It's one of these, you know, classic shadow things. This one seems to me like an attention grabber, therefore he will move things.
Okay. Do you think he's here all the time, or...?
Yeah, he's grounded, yeah.
Definitely?
Yeah, definitely grounded, this one.
Right.
Most definitely.
Do you think he's previous resident of the house then?
Yes, yeah, undoubtedly.
Right.
How long ago would you say he would have lived here?
I would say a couple of hundred years, maybe even more than that, maybe 250 years ago.
At 400 years of age, this property has encountered its fair share of occupants. And although few other details exist, the time frame given by David would suggest the same period that saw these buildings once act as a farmhouse. But we needed more on our attention-grabbing male energy. Perhaps the playroom would encourage more of the same.
It's a bit more twitchy in here.
Twitchy? What do you mean?
Well, it feels a bit more of a presence, a bit more. I tell you what, it almost feels like nippy to me. The energy feels like, you know, it's nippy. Do you know what I mean? It's picking at me.
That's me. Sorry. Who is the same dark shadow?
It's the same one. It almost feels like he's in my face. He's like this, and he's kind of, and this is energetically. He's not poking me, but the energy is really spiky. He's making this part of my face really numb. This part here really numb.
Is there a reason for that?
This is energetically your third. Well, it's your third eye.
Right.
So it's this part of me that sees, if you like, that creates the pictures inside my head. So it's banging open.
Yeah, because we know from neurology that's the pineal gland. That particular, when you went like that.
Right.
It's just asking. Some people say that particular area of the brain is associated with psychic activity. So it's just interesting you say that.
It would make sense for the chakra, the energy points in the body. That's the
pineal gland.
Yeah.
Wow, it's the first time I've heard of it. So can you actually see? Are you going to make a clearer picture of what this man would have looked like now?
He's got quite a long, pale, drawn face. Classic, I think, ghostly face. I mean, I know that sounds a bit old Hammer House-ish, but you know what I mean? It's a very, very long, kind of lurchy Addams Family face.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not particularly attractive, I have to say.
And what's he wearing?
Quite scary. He's just black. It's all black.
The beauty of this investigation is that we're covering not just one, but 2 properties, and both are regularly subjected to intense bouts of possible paranormal phenomena. So we move next door to the home of Penny and her husband Simon. Different walls, but, as we're about to find out, the same old energies.
When I come in here, the first thing I want to do, physically impressed on me, is I want to just get this and cowp it over.
Really?
Turn it right over. Knock those apples flying.
Why? Who's doing that?
Shove furniture about.
Who? Who's doing it?
It's this man again. It's this male energy again.
That's what he's done.
So he's done. It's almost like marched in and just went.
But why? Why is? He's got to be angry to do that.
It is to me anger or attention seeking.
That's what you said. You said earlier on it's attention seeking, and you think that's the same.
But I bet he doesn't do it, and they see it.
No, it's always they'll come down and things will be moved. Yeah. So this family, they're not imagining these things.
I don't think so. It's almost like this is in his way. Now, would he? So if he came in from here, and he was going this way, that would be in his way. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
So I sense as if he's doing that.
Get out of the way.
Gets that out of the way because he wants to head that way.
Right. Richard, is any of this making sense to you?
Yeah. Shall I wait until I'm still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. There's a great history of poltergeist activity in this place. things are pushed and moved and turned over, and they don't know who it is.
Would this male spirit, if pushed, if they did something that they didn't like, or they renovated something or changed the house that he didn't like, do you think he would do something more violent? Do you think he's capable of that?
I guess the only way he could do that is, and I don't mean this to sound frightening to the family in any way, shape or form, is to almost not possess but to encourage
somebody upstairs.
Did you hear that? I was just going to check upstairs to see if there's anybody there.
That just
I
was
was just going to double check.
Sounded like a boom, like a footstep upstairs then.
And very often, I know that when it comes to poltergeist activity, Kieran will put forward possibly the theory that someone in the house is in their sleep. And I guess if you put a webcam or a camera in a room, you saw Mrs. Smith come down the stairs and tip the table over, then quite rightly Kieran could say, well, she's doing that in her sleep. Who's making them do that would be my answer to that.
Well, that's really interesting, because that is, you know, one of the big things that happens in this particular room is that coffee table going all over the place.
It feels like he's heading there.
And he's heading there. I wonder if there was a doorway or something like that. Kieran, is there anyone up there?
There's nobody upstairs. I checked all the rooms.
Did you hear that at the same time as I heard it?
Yeah, I did. I mean, you're interpreting it as footsteps. I definitely heard a noise upstairs, and there's nobody up there.
That's interesting.
So we appear to be in the presence of two men, one that we can name, but another who remains embedded in this property's past. And to add more weight to what we've heard, a door and stairway did indeed stand in this wall, whilst poltergeist activity only seems to occur when the house is empty or its residents are asleep. But what could we expect once Lower Southwood's lights go out?
There is something in there.
Yeah, there is. There. What was that noise?
Today, most haunted are in Devon, at a family home that continually attempts to fluster its long-standing inhabitants with random acts of poltergeist activity. Two particular male souls are now thought to be responsible for such phenomena, although their physical lives seem to be divided by 2 centuries. Past experience shows that any activity tends to take place at night, so once the lights had gone out at Lower Southwood, we split into 3 separate groups. Whilst Rachel, Joe and Stuart investigate cottage number 2, Kieran, Richard and John Dibley settle down in the living room of cottage number 1. That enables me to join both David Wells and our new spiritualist medium upstairs in the same building. And as you're about to see, Gordon Smith's first venture into night vision wouldn't disappoint.
Somebody do something. See, now this is the thing that gets me. You can feel all this high energy and you're like, right, come on. I'll need to make like a child so that I can get my energies up to see if they can throw things at me. Come on, move the table.
I'm really lightheaded. Really? Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just suddenly came over me like, oh.
I'm wondering if we put the televisions on all on hash.
And see if it actually...
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, see like the white noise?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. They're saying there's no sound that can come out of it, but it's energy, it's electricity.
Is there a window open anywhere at all?
No, I don't think so.
Is there not?
No.
Joe, can you just check?
No, let me shut.
What about that one over there?
We've got a breeze.
Yeah, I've just had a breeze come across my face. I'm not saying that, I really have. I mean, I suppose if you stand here,
Completely shut. And
you probably feel a breeze.
I can feel a little. No, not really. I can't feel anything from here. So it must. I don't know.
Is there a draft?
There's no draft coming down there. It's not windy now either, Stuart.
There isn't a draft coming from there.
I can't
Because
feel
I'm
any
getting a
draft
cold
there.
breeze all around me.
I'm just going to start calling out now, guys, so downstairs as well.
Okay, we'll keep quiet.
Is there anybody here? Are there any spirit people here in this house with us now? Are there any astral beings?
I feel tingling all around here.
Yeah?
But I don't know if that's me just, you know, suddenly becoming aware of everything around me.
Yeah. Don't forget we've got the hallway to do as well in that other bedroom.
Should we go down there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Go on.
David, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think I've got a bit more of a fix on the man. He seems,
Which man is this?
this is the one I've got.
Yeah? Fabulous.
This is a very strong feeling here.
You're right.
Yeah. Telly's gone bizarre actually. It's not really off, but it's
Oh, God, yeah.
it's weird.
And do you feel a spirit
Yeah,
present?
I get such a strong feeling around me there.
Well, they click off normally after 15 minutes, but that's not been on for 15
No,
minutes.
no way.
Shall I put it back on?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Ah, but it's counting down. I wonder if that's got anything to do
Could
with it.
be.
Well, we'll check again if it goes
Yeah.
off. But what is interesting is that you felt
I honestly
something.
felt something there.
I think it might have been my
What's your
eyes.
head on these? What's that,
I
Rach?
thought I saw something move across that room, but I don't know if it was my eyes.
Well, things have been seen moving across
In there?
in rooms.
Because I thought...
Shadows, shapes, people and...
So say Joe was over there, it would say about Joe's height, but I don't know from a distance. What? I just thought I saw something down there.
It's not gone off, has it? Oh, well, that's bizarre, because it was on... That's bizarre. I'm glad.
I am. As soon as it went off, I thought it'd be on the
Timer,
the same as you, especially when I saw the number counting down.
But didn't we research it and we found out it was about 15 minutes?
It probably varies from TV to TV.
Yeah, it probably
but,
does.
But the fact that we've done it again and it's not gone off at the same time.
That's what we wanted to see, isn't it? That's good.
Well, that's good.
If there is anyone in here, if there's someone who Rachel saw, could you try and move something or make a noise for us so that we do know you're here? It's a really nice room, isn't it? It is.
Oh.
Are you alright, lovey?
I think the energy's definitely here. I said to John earlier, it seems like a big mass of energy.
Yeah.
But it's just not directed, is it? It's,
No.
I feel it's one of the... Do you know what it is, Gordon? I feel it's one of these type that all of a sudden will shoot... I don't know why I'm nervous. It'll
David,
shoot
it's
in.
going to jump at us.
What?
Did you just do a big bang?
No.
Oh.
We just heard noises down here in the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come down with you.
You're freezing?
It's cold down here, actually.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Just go, come on.
You alright?
The hell was that?
Yeah, something is flowing about. Don't worry.
What was that?
Did you drop something or bang something?
Here, all three of us are sitting in here.
Did not drop
Did
something
you hear
or
that
bang
glass
something?
then?
No,
Yeah,
also this is
can't
carpet in here.
something. This door was shut.
Okay, we were out here.
Like a pencil or something, don't
Is it a glass or?
Something or...
Sounds like
No, it sounded like a glass
Bottle top.
jar with...
Yeah. What's that? That paper?
Did you
No, what's that?
Oh, that's it.
What is it?
What is it? What is it?
It's a medal of some sort, is it?
A medal.
It is a medal.
Scary.
Why? One at the end.
Not the far one, you know, the
One that we were in
with the
before.
rocking chair.
Yeah. It's creepy, isn't
Standing on
it?
your own, yeah.
Should we go back in?
Because you've got a sense of there is something in there.
Yeah. There is.
There. What was that noise?
Don't know.
There is something in there.
Yeah. There is.
There. What was that noise?
We've been sitting in here, nothing's happened.
Well, where did it come from?
Well, we heard something down here, and that's when Wigan came down. I said, "I'll come with you," and then we just stepped there.
like a bottle to us.
Well, we asked for something. It's happened.
We later discovered that this was a medal belonging to Penny's son, and although no real significance can be found for the movement of this particular object, a mood of anxiety was clearly growing in both cottages. And having sat down in the kitchen, Gordon and David's initial lines of communication would see an earlier sensory perception reappear.
David, are you feeling it getting really intense in here?
Yeah, very.
I mean, I'm feeling the atmosphere closing in on me.
He's right behind me.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, he's not behind me, he's on me.
Is he on you? Yeah, I'm the same.
This is this other gentleman. What the heck was
There's
that?
light anomalies.
No, did you hear that?
Yeah, in there.
It was like a cough or a groan.
That was a wheeze, I thought.
Yeah.
That's when you mentioned that chap. I'm seeing a strange light around you, David.
I'm freezing. There's a draft right behind
It's
my head.
right behind you, and it's just a light I'm seeing.
He's on me. He's on me. His
Yeah.
hands are in.
Is this a guy of an older time?
Yeah.
It's
it
going
just
back,
drives me
this
mad.
man, he's going back. It's not part of the family. I can actually
No,
see
he's not.
his face.
What does his face look like?
All right. Kind of, I don't mean wizened, but there's a kind of longish, no, hooked nose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's the way I'm looking at David and seeing that, and I know it's not David's nose, it's changing. Almost parrot-like, where the bone in the middle is so prominent, and he's sort of hooked over like that.
Oh, God.
He's got quite a long, pale, drawn face. Classic, I think, ghostly face. I mean, I know that sounds a bit old Hammer House-ish.
He has just completely become this man. Right, yeah, I can see you. You don't frighten me in the least.
Oh, I've just seen that.
Yeah, you
I've
see
just
that?
seen this.
Yeah, yeah, that's the mouth. It's really starting to change. It's okay. They're here.
What? In there.
Didn't we hear something in there before?
Yeah. David, can you hear me? You alright? Can you move
He's
your fingers
fine.
for
He's
me?
just taking them really deeply. Okay, I'm going to get up for the table a bit and just walk slowly by David, just so that if he needs any energy or any help, that'll be there.
Oh, I've just seen his mouth move like...
Yeah, you can. He's trying
That's so
to...
bizarre.
Just that they want to do things, so...
Must be very, very weird growing up in a house like this.
Yeah.
I
Must-
couldn't imagine it.
How the heck do you cope with that?
Just hear what I'm hearing.
What are you hearing? Tell me.
I'm being asked, come up the stairs yourself. Come on. If you're not afraid, is. I really am so not afraid to do that.
Well,
so.
let's go.
Yeah.
I'm worried about David.
Yeah, I
and
won't
David.
leave David at the moment.
So this guy is just in David.
There's just this energy.
I've never seen David like this before.
Well, he's doing something to... The best thing to do
What
is...
was
Did you see
that?
the footstep was? Yes.
Bloody hell, that was big.
They'll ask me to come upstairs. We're
Right
up.
above me.
He's doing something to... The best thing to do
What
is...
was
Did you see
that?
the footstep was?
He's doing something to... The best thing to do
What
is...
was
Did you see
that?
the footstep was?
This is just to coax us away, don't worry, David. I feel like, I mean, the feeling I get is he's just sent out something to attract them. They're in there, and they just won't like it.
Okay.
God, that's weird. I could hear your voices, but
Yeah, you
I
would
couldn't
really,
respond.
really deep.
I was deep. I couldn't respond to you at all.
Although our psychics may have found this as an everyday facet of their lives, the rest of the crew were amazed that David's trance-like state had allowed Gordon to visualise the figure that his colleague had described earlier in the day. But if they could see him, then why can't we? We move upstairs hoping for another response. But if they do exist, Lower Southwood's ghosts had their own way of answering our calls.
Did anybody move that chair way back?
Vet,
Yeah?
come here.
That was up here, wasn't it?
That wasn't there.
Vet,
Yeah.
that was sitting up here.
It was more
It was,
here.
yeah.
Is that all you can do? Is that the best you can do?
God,
wherever
move
you
a
are?
chair, eh?
Maybe that's why he wanted to go upstairs.
Yeah.
We know absolutely for definite no one's been up here.
No.
Nobody has been up here since us.
No.
You guys never came in here when we left.
No.
We left first, didn't we?
This is a stairway that can only be accessed via the same room where we had just been. Individually, we could vouch for each other's whereabouts and that no crew member could have moved that chair. And had it been in this position earlier, then neither Gordon nor I could have reached the television 30 minutes ago. But would the bedrooms in Cottage 2 worry me just as much as they had Rachel, Joe and Stuart? Despite the presence of my fellow investigators, my fears were to prove founded.
Are there any spirit people here in this house with us now? All right.
Yeah, mine tight right around me. Richard, put your hand there. Tell me if you feel cold. Can you not feel it? I can feel it.
Yes.
Just
like
there,
it's like a draft here.
It's not coming from here. No.
No.
It's not. Right around me. Keep asking.
Yes. What's the matter? What's wrong?
Just before you did that, I saw a red light moving across just where David is, just my side of
I think
David.
that was a...
Yeah, that was the temperature. That's me.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Well,
sorry.
what did you
So
feel?
it touched the back of my head.
I don't think it was me.
I don't.
Further proof it seemed that Lower Southwood Cottage isn't for the faint-hearted. However, we still wanted more, but must also be careful of just what we were wishing for.
Oh my God! What? Oh my God! It's a really sharp knife.
Devon may evoke images of sun-filled days, but for most haunted, tonight is all about laying to rest the two apparent male energies that stalk the residents of this Exeter home. 3 simultaneous vigils in Lower Southwood's 2 adjacent cottages have triggered several hot topics of debate. With ghostly shadows and anxiety dominating one vigil, electrical anomalies and poltergeists then appeared to move homely objects in another. It was agreed that the kitchen of Cottage number 1 should host a séance, but only once our mediums had offered protection to all involved. After all, this is where we had heard a medal fall to the floor. But what else would now be thrown our way?
Any astrals present, please make yourself known. Please knock twice. What's above us, isn't it? That was above us.
John, do you get it?
Yeah.
It's not somebody's walking. Oh my gosh.
Please, can you move something in this room rather than tap on the table? Or move the table. Something really definite.
It's on the table, maybe.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's a big old table, isn't it, to me? Yvette, can you take over the talking? I'm having a bit of a struggle.
Right.
Yeah, I'm fine. I think Gordon's suffering as well. It's just really strong.
Is there anybody here?
Gordon, are you okay?
Just hold on.
Gordon? Gordon, you alright?
It's okay, just let him go. Table jumped there.
Yes, it did.
You did.
It's just me.
He's moving.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. It's just...
Do you want me to follow him within?
No, he's there. He's there.
Gordon's,
Oh, somebody's thrown. Yeah, somebody's right on my foot.
What's that?
It's a knife.
Oh my God! What? It's a really sharp knife! It's a really sharp knife!
You bet it's on your foot.
So I know it's on, but it's between our feet.
It's on Yvette's foot. Have you got that, Johnny?
Yeah.
Do you want to get in here, mate?
You got it.
Just keep your foot still, Yvette.
No, I'll take it off.
It's alright.
You alright?
Have you got it?
You got it, Kieran?
Yeah.
Okay. My goodness.
Where's that coming from?
is it out that knife?
There is a slot. Well, there's one missing from the block.
From there?
That's the
Yeah, it's
where
like
they come from before.
I thought it came from... What? No, it's
We don't know where it's come
Let
from
me put
because
it
it's
back
dark,
anyway.
isn't it?
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah.
They
That's
can't
why
hurt, they won't
Gordon's
hurt.
guide will hurt me.
No, yeah, I know it scares you, but they won't. I mean, what I'm saying is they're not going to throw it at the back of your neck or anything like that.
No, but it could have gone in my foot.
That could have
on my
gone
leg.
on that foot, yeah.
It's Gordon all right?
Yeah, he's fine.
This is the second random act of apparent poltergeist activity to take place in the kitchen. However, whereas the first occurred in an empty environment, this took place with everyone present. Our camera angles, unfortunately, failed to capture a clear view of the table jumping as Gordon moved away from it, as well as the knife's sudden movement. However, the sheer severity of throwing this razor-sharp knife ruled out any unnecessary and unwelcome pranks. And once he felt ready, Gordon was able to rejoin the group to discuss this uneasy sequence of events.
Gordon, can you hear us?
Yeah, okay.
Hello, sweetie.
Okay. David, are you okay?
David?
David.
David?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, David.
I'm fine. I think I'm being used as a battery, that's all.
You feel drained, yeah?
All I knew was I was being lifted and moved out of something. Just get out of the way.
We've been in so many places. That's a sharp, bloody knife.
Oh, yeah.
Why couldn't it have been a
Where did it
spoon or
actually go?
it went on my foot?
Flew right on between your two, and it felt to
Whatever
me as if it
happened
was
to be
coming
there.
from here. So
Yeah.
if you'd have been in the way, it
I'd
would
have
have
got
got you,
whacked
but it
with
didn't. It went down to here and over our feet.
But it could have gone in my
But
shin.
remember, it wasn't thrown. It was more or less placed.
It went chink on the floor.
Yeah,
Didn't
it was
Did you
placed.
catch it
It
on
wasn't
camera?
thrown.
No.
They're not trying to hurt us. That's the big
No.
thing. Well, when they say they, there probably isn't a they.
What were you getting, David? I mean, I was kind of gone, so it's hard to even know.
It's just, to me, the whole night has been, well, we've said it countless times, the word energy. It's just this huge, massive energy. There's definitely a male spirit here, and he's just not a very happy character. No. But I accept what you're saying, that it can be, these things have to be fed, and they're fed through emotion, and they're fed through fear.
And those thoughts still resonate with all those who visited this abode. Gordon's introduction to the team only appears to have added to our collective energies, not that Lower Southwood Cottage needed them. We began with a strong link to a recent and by all accounts respectful astral. Yet as the early hours advanced, so too did a much older and perhaps angrier force. A mostly malevolent male who it seemed was only too happy to move furniture, but only when we weren't looking. This fate has also beset the family that is still content to live here. So our final act was to cleanse this home, hopefully for good. And once in the cold light of day, what conclusions can be drawn from our day in Devon?
In terms of the activity that the Most Haunted crew witnessed themselves, there was a whole plethora of experiences. During one of the vigils, some of the Most Haunted crew actually reported that a chair had moved in one of the upstairs bedrooms. There had been conducted a second part of the vigil downstairs in the kitchen and dining room area, and when they went back upstairs to the bedroom, a chair had actually moved from one part of the bedroom to the middle area of the bedroom. Now, this is interesting activity that ties in with previous eyewitness accounts. The difficulty is we don't have objective evidence for it. We don't have any footage of the movement of that chair. So again, I have to be quite sceptical about that particular evidence.
Lower Southwood Cottages was the first time that Gordon and David had worked together. And how those two gelled, well, it was amazing. The séance I found absolutely fascinating. The frightening bit certainly was the knife. It wasn't thrown. There's no doubt about that. It seemed as if it was more placed.
Gordon's
Oh, it's thrown. Something's right on my foot.
What's that?
It's a knife.
Oh my God! What? It's a really sharp knife. It's a really sharp knife.
You bet it's on your foot.
I know it's on, but it's between our feet.
From my perspective, we can't discount the possibility of a number of other explanations. Whenever you get the movement of an object, it's always ideal from an evidential point of view to get the full movement on camera. In this particular case, we didn't get that full movement, so I have to reserve judgment and be quite sceptical about that particular activity. All in all, the investigation at Lower Southwood Cottage was interesting, and I think a number of people are actually quite confused about the source of the paranormal activity, whether it's from spirit or from PK energy. And for that reason, I think it was quite an unusual and fascinating Most Haunted investigation.
A family troubled by poltergeist called, and we were happy to answer. We heard their story, and now we have our own. A night that brought us mystery, malice, and mayhem. Until next time, sleep tight.
You know the story.
Sold him the gunpowder.
Now, meet the characters.
Quietly crying out for mercy.
In Derek Acora's Quest for Guy Fawkes.
Remember the 5th of November, this Saturday night at 9 as Derek unravels the truth behind Britain's biggest ever terrorist plot. Now, what about that knife throwing in Most Haunted? Well, there's a chance now to get the inside track from the investigators themselves in Most Haunted Extra after the break.